Firepoll does youth marketing research, so we help marketing professionals who are trying to target young consumers, high school or college age customers. We help these professionals understand what those consumers want. And we've got some proprietary software that helps us get that done by conducting surveys or polls over the internet. We can do it very quickly, very accurately, and give the marketer ultimately a lot of information about what that consumer wants and why. Help them kind of get under the surface and dive down into that person's preferences. I guess something else that I'd like to convey about Firepoll is just the uniqueness of it. There are hundreds of research outfits out there, but Firepoll is the only one that is pioneering this instant messaging methodology. For companies that have not used a research team or research vendor before, it's worth looking into. We work with, we kind of specialize in a couple of different industries. Food and beverage industry has been important to us. We also look at consumer electronics. We can do financial services, apparel, retail. So locally we've done some work with Mrs. Fields, a couple of their divisions within Mrs. Fields brands. We've also done work for a company called Izzy Beverages. That's kind of a young, hip beverage company. I really discovered my entrepreneurial tendencies. I think initially in college, I think I'd always imagined myself doing something entrepreneurial. Initially, I thought that I'd get there by way of an MBA at some top school somewhere, and so I set out kind of pursuing that career track. I actually came out of college, took a job at an investment bank, and the plan was to do that for a few years and then try to do an MBA probably back east somewhere, and then jump into the startup world. And what I found was that as I was working with our clients, many of whom were small to mid-sized businesses, I worked in the M&A industry, and so I'd work directly with usually the founders of the company, who were now at a point of harvesting the company that they had built over years and years and years. And I just became fascinated with that process. I became really intrigued and interested in that world, and simply just realized I like what they were doing better than what I was doing. There have been a lot of surprises as we've gotten out and polled our membership, the youth that we interact with. I think one of the biggest has just been their desire to take part in the process. They seem to crave to give feedback more than other generations. I think the current generation of young people really wants to participate in the product development and launching process. They want companies to seek out their voice. They want to be heard, and they want to add their opinion to what companies are doing. The technology is an important part of what we do because it allows us to use a methodology that's more effective with youth, and I'll explain what that means. We use a technology that's similar to Instant Messenger. So just like your MSN Messenger, AOL Instant Messenger, or Yahoo, we have a piece of software that a young consumer can download to their computer, and it stays on in the background and essentially just waits for a survey request from Firepoll. The biggest challenges that Firepoll has faced is convincing the customer, our client, to take a hard look at a methodology that they're probably not familiar with. Many of our customers don't use Instant Messenger, or have only heard of it, maybe their kids use it, and so we've really had to educate our client base about how prolific instant message use is among generations X and Y, and get them to buy into the concept of using this relatively new medium to conduct research. The greatest sense of accomplishment that I get is when a client calls me up following a project and says, hey, this worked out really well for us because of this, this, and this. Junto has had a really significant impact on where I'm at right now, and I don't think I would have been able to make as much progress as I've been able to without the help of Junto. And I think, looking back, it's been different things about Junto that have had, I think, the most impact than I initially thought I would get out of Junto. And initially I thought it was the money, it was access to a network. And as I've gone through this process, I think for me what's made the most impact is my 4 partners. Entrepreneurship can be a lonely game, and you get told all the time that you're not going to make it, that it's not worth it, and to have 4 other guys going through the same thing at the same time was a huge support for me. They've acted as a sounding board, they've acted as advisors and mentors. We have a good time together, and that camaraderie, I think, has really kind of lifted me up, and I've learned a lot from them. But that support has probably had the biggest impact of anything that I could think of that Junto has given me. Clint Carlos has founded a company called Garage Mahal. They do custom garage design and remodeling, so you can kind of, if you've seen MTV's Pimp My Ride, think Pimp My Ride for your garage. Ryan Money founded a company called HireView, and he has built a software program that allows a hiring manager to conduct non-real-time interviews of candidates from all over the world over the internet. It saves a ton of time and a ton of money in the hiring process. Brent Thompson has founded a company called Agile Studios. They do custom software development. He's actually the one that built the Firepoll software. Firepoll is the only one that is pioneering this instant messaging methodology.